Hi, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor with my Trumpology report for April 2019. So let's start with the sun and let's talk about where the giver of life is in Trump's chart right now. It's in his 8th house of secrets. And things that we want to keep hidden. The 8th house deals with other people's money, taxes, debts. This is his own personal taxes and debts. The 8th house also deals with transformation or control. And since Trump has Pluto and Mars in his 12th house, the element of control is what motivates him. One of the things that motivates him, understandably. So with the sun in the 8th house, he is needing to keep certain things quiet and private. And this, as I said, deals with taxes, other people's money. It can be money that is paid into different funds. And this deals with his secrets about money. Then on the 11th, the sun moves into the 9th house. And all of a sudden, he sees a much bigger picture. Now, the 9th house deals with higher education. I think because it deals with long distance travel and communication with foreign leaders, that's how this will work out in his chart. And I'm saying higher education because a lot of you know that, but everyone has their choice as to the level on which they use any planet in any house, in any sign, in any aspect. So we'll probably see him traveling more. This is long distance travel, communicating more with people from other countries. And this will hopefully create life in that area. Now we have a new moon and a full moon. The new moon on April 5th is in 15 of Aries. Find 15 of Aries in your birth chart because on the new moon, that's when things start growing, okay? And in Trump's chart, the whole area of secrets starts increasing. Because they're secrets, we probably will not be privy to them. Anything dealing with taxes, money through through partnerships, whether personal or business, this is what the new moon triggers, okay? As the moon grows, 2 weeks later, we've got a full moon. And that's on April 19th in 29 degrees of Libra. That's the last degree of Libra. And the 3rd house deals with communication, correspondence, transportation, but this is more local. This is him talking, sharing ideas. The new moon is him keeping things to himself. So there's lots of communication. He's going to be talking a whole bunch, and you might be saying, well, he always does. But this, on the full moon, brings his words out to the public, and we have to see how they register with people. Again, it's April 19th. Lots of communication, lots of talking, probably campaigning because it's more local. Okay, that's the sun. Mercury and Venus, Mercury's the blue planet, Venus is the pink planet. They're traveling so closely together that I've just included them side by side. Mercury, communication, correspondence, transportation, our mouth and our minds, okay? It's in his seventh house of open enemies, as well as contracts and negotiations. This deals with the public as well, the 7th house does. And so it's partnerships. It's other people calling the shots. Lots of talk over contracts, over negotiations. And Venus, which is what we love and what we think is beautiful, can attract some lovely relationships. But the other people in his life are calling the shots. I hope this makes sense to you. Now, may need to, I want to say during the first 2 weeks of April, Venus and Mercury are squaring his 10th house of public image, career, and squaring his 4th house planets of home, family, and real estate. And so they're setting things up for him to be Uranus rebellious, North Node successful, Sun egotistical, because it's a square. They're also setting him up for a square to the South Node, which can be a drain when it comes to his finance, his family, real estate. Now remember, there's finances involved. And his moon, his emotional need to be close to his family, emotional attachment to them. And so we have what is formed, Venus and Mercury squaring the 10th house planets, squaring the 4th house planets, which oppose each other. The empty arm of that T-cross is the 1st house. And that's him reacting to what is being said and perhaps given to him by other people. Now, as Venus and Mercury enter his 8th house, he's thinking more and talking more privately about his joint finances. And there can be more money, more blessings that enter his 8th house of other people's money, joint financial arrangements, etc. So, very, very interesting. Now, let's take a look here. This is really interesting. Mars, the planet of war, anger, passion, gunfire, is in his 10th house in April. Mars has a 2-year cycle. So think back 2 years ago. Not necessarily in April, but that was the last time Mars was there. Mars fires things up. It is what we throw ourselves into. It's what we fight with and fight for. It's in his 10th house of his career. Let me tell you what's going on. Mars, on the it's sitting there all month. On the 26th and 27th, Mars sits on Uranus. Uranus is innovative. It is rebellious. And we've come to expect that of Trump because he marches to his own drummer. That's Uranus. When Mars fires it up, there is anger involved. There is passion involved. And so we can expect the unexpected. If he's angry, now remember, where did that, hang on one second. I want to go back here to the 8th house. With Venus and Mercury in the 8th and the Sun in the 8th house can be vengeful. So there may be quite the reaction from Trump. When Mars sits on Uranus, I call that the get on your Harley and ride aspect. You are shot out of a cannon and there is no stopping you. And so we will see this publicly in Trump's chart. Then Mars sits on his North Node on the 30th. The North Node is the area of your greatest success. Unfortunately, it opposes his South Node, which is in his 4th house of home and family and real estate. And so he's focused on his career rather than his family. He's kind of pulling away from that. And because Mars is up there saying to him, fight for your public image, fight for your career, be the leader. And then in May, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, Mars sits on the sun. And we will see his ego in all its glory. Okay. And it will oppose his moon in May. Now, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance, is retrograde in his fourth house. Now, usually Jupiter, the great benefic, brings blessings, but it also brings a lot of whatever it touches. It's retrograde now. That means it's going to back up. Oh, not in April. Excuse me. I've got my glasses on now. I can see it. More April 30th. It will sit on the south node. And in May, it will sit on the moon. Then it's going to, while it's retrograde, it's going to back up, cross the IC, move out of the fourth house into the third of communication. And it will go direct in August. When it goes direct, it will make its final pass over the south node and the moon. And this is when it makes that last pass, it'll make another one in 12 years. There can be a lot of south node activity, which can be draining of energy. It can add to his real estate picture, to the home and family picture, but there is an expense involved. There's a price to be paid. And then when it sits on the moon again, and it'll be, that'll be in a few months, this is when his home, his family, and all of his real estate holdings are going to be activated and emphasized. Now, the last two things I want to tell you about are eclipses that we had in January. Whenever we have an eclipse, it's strongest 3 to 4 months after it occurs. Well, there are two eclipses that we had in January. The first one, the solar eclipse, the new moon, was January 5th in 15 of Capricorn. Find 15 of Capricorn in your birth chart. That's wherever it was on January 5th, that's where you're feeling it now. In Trump's chart, it's in his fifth house of children, fun and games, sports, sex, speculation. And so he's ready to have fun. He's ready to take a chance. He's a gambler. And then the full moon in January, the solar eclipse, on the 21st, was in 0 Leo 52 minutes. Let's call it 1 degree of Leo, sitting on his 12th cusp. That's the full moon. That's when things came to a head. Look and find 1 degree Leo in your birth chart because it's active now. This eclipse on his 12th cusp of behind the scenes activities, hidden enemies, secrets pulling back, working behind the scenes. He's got a public image and a private life. And that is what is going on. So, interesting, don't you think? I hope you found it interesting. I do. I find it very, very interesting. And I'm going to be watching that Mars in his 10th house because it coincides with Mars in the United States first house. And I will discuss that with you very shortly. In the next couple of days, I'll have it posted. And you will see what's going on in the United States chart, and you'll have Trump's chart to compare it to. So, till my next video it's going to be a 3-month forecast for the United States. My blessing for you is this, that the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.